Yes! I live to see another year! On second thought, at time of recording, we still have a ways to go, so maybe I shouldn't be tempting fate. But while the New Year's and my impending death looms ever closer, one question lingers in my head. YouTube anime community, where the hell is our award show? Jeremy Johns and Schmoes Knows do one for movies and it is awesome. So you know what, whoever's in charge over there, get to it. Now, while I patiently wait for my invitation to present anime of the year, because I totally should, it was my idea, might as well work on my list. Now, I couldn't do this for 2013 because to be honest, I only picked 3 new shows that year and you already know the order in which I like them. This year, thanks to following the seasonal releases, I have watched so much anime I can make a top 10. But I won't, everybody else is doing that. Me, I'll make a top 7 and 3 I didn't like as much. Of course, limited only to shows I have watched and finished. So while some of you might think Mahoka Koka or Sidonia no Kishi were the shit, I haven't seen them so they can count. So to kick things off, here's the runners-up.
Don't lose your way.
Right, now let's begin.
No.
Now I've said before, I've never gone out of my way for slice of life. To me it equates to real life and ruins the whole escapism I'm looking for in my anime. Even though there were no fight scenes or crazy power-ups, there was a lot of heart in Barakamon. What really grabbed me in this series was halfway in. After watching Handa be the only normal person around a sea of quirkiness and crazy, we suddenly realized he has his own quirks and is quite at home with everyone else. It gave one fun time after another, some great messages about hard work and talent, and if you don't think Naru is the cutest little troublemaker ever, you have no soul. Congratulations Barakamon, you sold me to slice of life. Now if only I could find a sports shonen that could do the same.
Look!
In the news these days, I see people tend to overreact a lot. Target stores in Australia dropped Grand Theft Auto 5 and everybody's looking for their pitchforks. And yet somehow an anime like Zankyo no Terror actually got made. This is an anime series in which the protagonists are terrorists. No ways around it. But despite all that, it was quite a solid show. It had great emotion, edge of your seat tension, and quite a conspiracy was uncovered. Despite the touchy subject matter, it was quite a solid show. Definitely recommended.
Cool!
Ultra violence, blood, gore? Yep, a chemical kill was for me. I'm such a huge fan of 90s style manga entertainment stuff. I love the Ninja Scrolls. I love the Fists of the North Stars. I love the Guyverse. And the Kamikaze Kill just reminded me of all of that. And I'd say I respect an author who is bold enough to take out his protagonist. That was quite a shocker. Too bad the anime only ending turned it to a routine. But all in all, it was still a really thrilling ride and I loved every minute of it. Still gonna go read the manga. One thing I can say about 2014, it was the year that Gen Urobuchi became an entity for me. His name was the only selling point behind picking Alnoa Zero. I went in expecting a long campaign like we had with Code Geass, but instead, well, this scene sold me and everyone else. Oh my god, the high-octane action, the very intellectual fights. And say what you want about Inaho, it takes more than guts and a can-do attitude to take on a lightsaber with a stone dagger. It takes intellect, and Inaho brought that in spades. And let's face it, scenes like what happened at the ending are the reason I have a YouTube channel. Definitely going for the sequel. Now, before I go for my top 3, might as well handle the other list. Yeah, I don't want to close this with a bad taste in my mouth, so let's get the vegetables out of the way before I go for the desserts. This wasn't particularly a bad anime, I just don't see the point of it existing. I mean, they took a movie series and cut it up into episodes. Why? This was a good opportunity to take stuff they've learned before and improve upon it. They could have gotten better voice actors, they could have improved on the animation, but no, it's a simple copy and paste, and like I said, I just don't see the point of this. Sure, it did have 1 or 2 good fight scenes and some interesting characters in between, but all in all, it was a big meh for me. Yeah, this one really disappointed me. I loved the second episode. That fight at the end was a bee's knees and had me wanting more. It just did not deliver. It hyped up a final confrontation with the boss and we had it. Twice. And both times, it just felt stale. They promised us an epic adventure, and yet it seems to only happen around one particular town. And don't get me started on the pacing. Yeah, this was not a very well polished piece of work. Wow, talk about a strong beginning that falls short on everything else. The first 2 episodes were a great introduction. It set up a really interesting scenario and I was waiting to see what they would do with it. Instead, all we got were Assassins of the Week and very little fleshing out of any of the characters. And honestly, Haru is the most naive person ever. She hit the jackpot once and kept expecting it to happen over and over again. And don't get me started on that cop out of an ending. Yeah, this was just no. No wonder no one voted for it. Now, I know regular viewers are wondering, how come he didn't mention those? Well, go back to the beginning of the video and you hear my rules. I need to have finished it. These 2 were so terrible I couldn't go past the 2nd episode. For an Ishin Daishogun had great artwork, but they were using some very terrible animation techniques. Unless it comes to jiggle physics and boobs, it just felt so juvenile and filthy. Ugh. Eberembo Rikishi, my god, how could you want me to get behind this guy? I swear, the high point of it for me was where he got slapped at the end. In fact, that's a great story arc for me. You're a bully, you get slapped. The end. Done. Story for the ages. Move on. Now that we're done with the bitter stuff, let's go for the sweet, sweet candy. My top 3. I usually don't cover long-running shows like One Piece and Naruto because I'm actually caught up with the manga, and all I can talk about is the quality of the adaptation. But I have a feeling, even if I have read the manga for Hunter x Hunter, it would still be the strongest adaptation amongst the long-running shonens. I mean, the fight scenes were amazing, the power sets were quite unique. And pacing, they actually used an entire episode just to cover 15 seconds of a fight, and it kept me at the edge of my seat. Now that is amazing. With this level of quality, it is no surprise that it is number 3. I just have to give it a place on this list. What can I say? Fate Zero won me over so well, I was looking forward to Fate Stay Night's Unlimited Blade Works for months. Granted, it's not exactly the same show. Fate Zero had a very mature feel. Fate Stay Night seems to have its kids' gloves on. But still, the action scenes are a treasure to behold. The twists and turns keep you coming for more. It's a shame that most of the big reveals have already been covered in Fate Zero. It would have been great to be surprised when I find out who Saber actually is. And I'm enjoying watching Shiro's journey to become a hero, inspired as he was by Kiritsugu. All in all, it is a really solid show and definitely cannot wait for the 2nd season. It's good! This is the one. This is a show that has occupied my thoughts for most of the year. You are winner! Granted, it is not a perfect show. It has a lot of fan service and it gets really uncomfortable when it is aimed at Shiro. But I just love this show for the amount of intellect it shows off. By the end of the 2nd episode, I already know that Blank are going to get whatever they want, but I am loving watching the process. The 6th episode especially was a delight for me. And of course, it introduced me to my waifu, Jibril. You have no idea how difficult it is for me to not go out and hunt down the light novels to continue this great story. I really want more No Game No Life. It is, for me, the anime of the year. So what about you guys? What was your top anime of the year? Love to find out. And if it's different from mine, even better. I'll need something to put on my next poll list. Might as well have you guys give it to me. So yeah, those are my highs and my lows for 2014. Looking forward to the next year. 2015 is bound to bring on some great challenges. For one thing, I'm gonna get married. So I have to figure out how I'm going to keep my waifu and my wife from meeting each other.